Revenge films.
Hi, my name is Kelly. I'm just an ordinary woman, much like you see every day. 2 years ago, I divorced my husband, Zach, and now I'm single. I'm focusing hard on my job nowadays, enough to call my work my true love. One day, an unknown woman contacted me, wondering who could it be. It was none other than the woman whom my ex-husband cheated on me.
It's been a while. Do you remember me?
Yes, I do, but I admit I really don't want to. 2 years ago, I discovered Zach had been unfaithful with his woman, which led me to ditching him. The divorce itself went smoothly, but afterwards, she and I had a slew of arguments over the settlement of damages. Fortunately, I was able to get the sum I'd initially wanted, but those times were truly draining. Why would she contact me now, long after everything was settled? It seemed she wanted to meet and talk, so I invited her over to my place. How is he? Not that I really care. I broke up with that bastard. I see. Well, unfaithfulness does often yield results like this. The relationship they had seemed superficial from the beginning, and he never had good taste in women. But this made me wonder even more. Why the heck does she want to talk to me? Perhaps something happened while I was settling everything with Zach? I was pondering a few possibilities when Florence, the woman in front of me, said something like,
I can't take it anymore with your stupid harassment.
Excuse me? I had no idea what she was talking about. What was she trying to say here? Harassment? I don't have the time to do that at all. Also, ever since Zach and I split up, I haven't kept in touch with him or with his woman. Convinced she was mistaken about something, I asked her a few questions. Are you sure you're not mistaken, madam?
I'm not mistaken, I say. I'm tormented by mental insecurities, and it's all your fault.
I listened completely in the dark. She stated her ridiculous excuses, which said that her life had become difficult because of the demands for compensation and the settling of fear because of my shouting and accusing during the divorce mediations. All of this was complete nonsense. I never shouted or insulted her, of course, and I remember her mother putting herself between me and her daughter, scolding her severely. Furthermore, she also claimed that the reason her most recent boyfriend dumped her was because of my harassment. Wait now, how could that possibly be? You do realize I haven't spoken to you even once during the last 2 years.
You told my boyfriend directly, didn't you? You told him I'd stolen your husband from you. That's why he dumped me.
That's outrageous. Not to mention, I hadn't the slightest idea of who her most recent boyfriend even was. This woman went so far as to tell me she was going to sue. However, even if she did, what she claims would never give her a winning chance. Any conventional lawyer would decline to support her upon hearing this fiction. I listened to her half-heartedly and occasionally answered in single words. She finally went home. Jeez. Honestly, these nonsensical accusations were getting on my nerves. I have more important things to think about. However, a few days later, I was contacted by a gentleman who claimed to be a lawyer.
Good afternoon. Is this the correct phone number for a Miss Kelly Collins?
Indeed, it is. This lawyer started to explain about the woman wanting to sue me. I never thought that a lawyer would such bullshit seriously, so I first listened to everything he had to say. He stated it was difficult to explain in detail over the phone, so I went to the nearby coffee shop where I met this so-called lawyer.
She is willing to keep quiet about this matter if you're willing to pay her demands in full.
How much is that woman demanding?
$30,000.
30,000? I didn't recollect any instances of harassing her, nor did she ever provide any solid proof against me. I never did anything to her, and I refused paying her demands. And this lawyer said that it would be settled in a court.
In the event this will be taken to court, she will have a big advantage. I personally must recommend the alternative.
Now even he was talking their languages of morons. Of course, I couldn't understand how such a court without any proof whatsoever could even be an option. And even if things did proceed, I told him I would not attend, simply because I just don't have the time. I can't waste any time out of my busy life doing meaningless stuff like this.
I'm afraid the remaining option is compulsory execution.
Eh? Compulsory execution? Even when I'm not even in debt?
In the event the sums and damages aren't paid, and the attendance to court is refused, this is the standard course of action. You don't seem to know much of the law, so I can't blame you for not knowing about this.
Upon hearing those words, I'd had it up to my head. Compulsory execution? Court? All right then, let's do just that, shall we? If you're willing to fight, I'm willing to give it my all as well. But there is something I'd like to clear up first, and that would be... So, you're a lawyer, right?
Yes, I am.
Then why haven't you given me a card yet?
Forgive me, I'm currently short of business card.
Oh, I see. Well then, here's my own card.
I'm sorry?
As I said so, I extended my hand and handed over the so-called lawyer my card. I'm a lawyer, if you hadn't noticed. Are you all right, sir?
A lawyer?
He stared at the card with a look of bewilderment. I guess the possibility of me being a lawyer never crossed his mind, but rather, did that woman actually forget I'm a lawyer too? Or maybe I just never told her? I knew professionally that what this gentleman was saying wasn't coherent at all. I almost burst out laughing a couple times. I mean, he really did say those things to a real lawyer after all. About the court case, when will I receive my summons?
By
the way, where's your lawyer's badge?
I'd forgotten to put it on.
Upon finding out that I was a real lawyer, the tables had turned. Perhaps he knew he was in trouble. I noticed the beads of sweat trickling down his forehead. I had the faintest idea, but I now knew for certain this gentleman was no lawyer. I now believe he was hired by that idiot woman to intimidate me into doing what she wished. I guess my first impression wasn't too good, considering she'd used this blockhead of a decoy to get me.
Are you really a lawyer?
I am. You must call my firm to double check, if you please. I'd also like to know where your firm is, so please give me its phone number.
That would be...
Impossible. For the simple reason that he isn't a lawyer. There is no conceivable way he works in a law firm. Huh? How about you confess already? That deranged woman hired you, didn't she? Or do you really want to consider settling this in court?
I give up. I'm sorry.
You must not go about claiming you're a lawyer when you're not.
Of course.
He confessed in the end. Turns out he was just a friend of that woman. He appeared the most respectable, and so she chose him for the job. The situation was, after she broke up with Zach, she started going out with another guy, but that guy later dumped her. And at around the same time, a notice to pay compensation to me had arrived at her doorstep. She then teamed up with this man in front of me to civic money from me. I'm warning you, but this is grounds for fraud. If I sue you, you will quickly find yourself in jail, I'm afraid.
Please! I beg you! Forgive me!
The guy, pale as a slice of mozzarella, offered his sincerest apologies. He probably realized he was a total goner. Well, his attempt was unsuccessful in any case, so we never reported him to the police. But this was a true crime, and I demanded some extra to settle the situation once and for all. Although it was unsuccessful. They did thoroughly attempt to succeed in this escapade. So this is the obvious way of things. When I demanded 1,000 from each party, the guy remained reasonable. But that Florence wasn't so easily coerced. Why do I have to pay you for more damages when I was the victim here? She'd say in a tantrum. So I only sued her.
Why am I being sued here?
It seems she never truly understood what she did wrong. An unsuccessful attempt, I remind you, but she was arrested nevertheless, and went behind bars. What's worse, after she was released, she attempted scamming yet again. She attempted marriage fraud to run off with a large sum, but was eventually caught and went back to jail. Talk about one who never learns. Finally, I can focus on my work. Later on, I married my newest boyfriend, and now I even have a child. I did really well as a lawyer too, as I now run my own law firm. I am now at the pinnacle of happiness, surrounded by a loving husband and child.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.